one and all, and welcome to another episode of Baggers Chat. My name is Mitch Pattinson, and as always, we're joined by Ethan Daffy. And today we are previewing our round 13 clash, Essendon v Carlton at the MCG, Sunday, 9th of June, 7:20 p.m. at, of course, the MCG Melbourne Cricket Ground. David, we're going to throw it straight to you, mate. Obviously, it's a very big clash this week. It's been a while since we've done an episode, actually, because obviously we played against the Power on Thursday, and we released it on Friday morning. So it's always been a week since our last episode. But how are you, mate, to start off with, and give your initial thoughts for how much you hate this club?
Good mate. Yeah, it has been a while. It's a good little break, heading into another break after this game. But yeah, I think the 10-day break will help us. I think we had back-to-back 5-day breaks, but off the back of that last quarter off a 5-day break, I'm not really worried about 5-day breaks anymore, to be honest with you. We ran out the game against a home team, who's in the top four, and absolutely obliterated them in the last quarter. So, and on to Essendon. Yeah, it's always a clash. I don't know. There's something always about them. I don't hate them as much as Collingwood. Almost hate Richmond more as well, to be honest with you. They're that type of team. I don't like Essendon whatsoever. Don't like anything about them. But whenever we play them, you just don't want to lose to them. They're one of those teams, like, there's probably four of them. There's probably Richmond, Collingwood, Essendon, and who else? I don't even know. It's probably those three, to be honest with you. That you just don't want to lose to. And when you rock up to the stadium, you're just like, oh, you see there, the red and black. Oh, there's just something about it in there, Patto. And especially off last year's performance, we were both at last year's game. That was almost the end of my footy supporting career. um, Obviously, that was the end of the whole shit run last year. And yeah, that game was, I don't even think we count that. We were just terrible. We lost by 4 goals, and I think we scored like 52 or something. And it was a lot of, I think we almost gave up on the season. I think we all did. Let's be real.
Yeah.
At that stage of the season, obviously you're going to go the next week to the Gold Coast game, but we almost gave up. It got to a sense where I don't think we were able to overcome this kind of rut we were in. So I think we owe them.
Yeah.
I think we owe them. I think we owe them a 4 or 5 goal win, because our seasons last year from that game turned the other way. They won that game. They're up and about talking shit, blah blah blah. Brad Scott's ahead of Michael Voss, and they did the typical Essendon and crashed and burned. So hopefully that happens again, and we beat them this week, and their season just goes.
Because it is big. Oh, sorry, you go.
Yeah, you go, you go.
No, well, because it is a big clash, especially, and the way that you've said it is actually like exactly how I would have shaped it, and it's especially with how big this clash is for both teams, because obviously we're coming off the win last week against the Power, but also the Dons are coming off a loss against the Suns, which is a game that they realistically had to, like, I mean, not had to win, but it was there in their hands to win, but unfortunately they let it slip. And now they're coming into this game where it realistically is the opposite from last year, where Essendon, their buddy top 4 side right now. So they, of course, are definitely one of the best sides in the competition. But now I'm going to throw it straight back to you, Def Boy. So yeah, so my order for the rivalries, I guess, is Collingwood by absolute country mile. Now my second is Richmond.
Yeah,
and I don't know why, but there's a lot of people that have Collingwood and Essendon. There's some people that have Essendon and Collingwood.
Yeah, yeah.
There's people that hate Essendon, and I think the top 3, because they're probably the 3 teams that just hate as a Carlton supporter. You probably would almost throw Melbourne in there. Like for me,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, like it's obviously a little bit different with you because that's your second team. But
Yeah.
you would almost throw Melbourne in there because just like there's just some plays in there, some games that we've lost where we're like, hey Melbourne. But now I'm going to throw it straight back to you. So your favorite moment against the enemy, what would you say?
There's a few. There's one particular one when I was really, really young, involving Favola, but and I was lucky enough to be at that game. I actually remember bits and pieces of that game, but I was about 4 or 5 years old, bloody screaming my head off for Favola. But my favourite moment, I was just watching some stuff before to kind of get in the mood for this game. and it was the 2011 final against the Bombers, and they went out to a 3-4 goal lead early in that game. And then we just came roaring back. I think it was 2011, so we just were outside the top four, which we probably should have made that year, to be honest. That was probably our best chance of winning the flag in our lifetime since probably now. Um, and yeah, they kicked the first 4 goals, and I reckon we kicked the next fucking 10 or 11, and it was just unbelievable. And I remember this, I think it might have been late in the game, or Juddy took a big hanger on the wing in front of the members stand, but I think there was a big goal. Carasso from the boundary. There's something about Carrots and the passion for the club, and he's one of those players you kind of always remember, and you always remember. He's kind of that kind of cult hero type.
Yes.
Played a very good footballer, very underrated in his time, but yeah, I think he just banged on the crest, and he let the Essendon players know about it. He used to always let the Essendon players know. I think this is a different memory, but against Essendon, he kicked the goal. Might have been 2012, maybe 2012, and kicked a goal from outside 50, and he goes over to Brent Stanton and says, fuck off, mate. He goes, and he just goes, come on. And there's a video of it. I will send it through to you, Patto, post video. But yeah, he lets him know about it. And that's what the rivalry's about, mate. We're not here to be fucking high-fiving and shaking hands with these people. We're not your mates.
Yeah.
For those 2 hours, we're not your fucking mates. We're beating you to the brim.
Yeah. Is that the one where he had a shaved head? And I don't know if he had I think he had a bandage on. I don't know why that comes to my head.
Maybe.
I mean,
No,
that's a little bit like.
All I remember is just him, like when he kicks a goal and walks over to Stanton, and he just, I think he goes like, whoa!
Yes.
It's
yeah. So, see, I don't know why, but whenever I look at these videos, there's always small details that I always take in. And one of those small details about the Chris Judd mark, I don't know why, but whenever I think of that, I always flash back to, if you look at the ball, it says Swiss on the ball. and now I don't know why, but that's just small details that I take in. And even 2010, when every single final series I had Panasonic on the ball. Yep. It's just small things like that. I'm like, I don't know why I take in so much detail like that, but literally as soon as you think Chris Judd, I'm like, oh yeah, Swiss on the ball, like the red ball. I think it was a black sponsor, and it suited really well on the red ball. I don't know why. Probably everyone in the comments, and I'm sure you included that for, is like, what the fuck is this guy on about? But then I'm going to throw to my favorite moment, and it's quite clear. I think it's quite the obvious one. For younger Carlton supporters, and it's the Andrew Walker mark, 2011. Probably realistically should have been mark of the year. I don't know how Andrew Cracker, I don't know which one it was. I don't know how he won it. I know that his mark against Adelaide was obviously very good, but I think Andrew Walker's one was pretty much freakish and probably a mark of a century sort of mark. And for him not to win that one that year, it was unbelievable. And he also went back to kick the goal from like a 45 tight angle. And that one was also a smashing against Essendon as well. So, especially around there, like they were still a solid side, but it was always a team that we could blow out.
Yes.
And let's just hope that since we're both good now, let's just hope that we can maybe blow them out once again this week. But sorry, go.
Yeah, on Walks, what a player, by the way. Funny story is, on the way to Adelaide on the weekend, we were in line to get on the plane, and Walks was there. So we had a chat with Walks. Yeah, he was on his way. It was near the in the terminal. Like, he was just sitting down, and my mum saw him first because she went out to go get a coffee, and she comes back and goes, "Oh, Walks is there." He goes, "Yeah, I just had a chat with Andrew Walker." So then we went over. He's a ripper, by the way, and he's a legend of the club. I think he's one of those types of players, consistent. But yeah, shout out to Walks if you tuning in, mate. Cheers for the chat.
I'm sure he would be. I'm sure he would put on his alarm every single time the Bang Chat video comes up every single week. I'm sure he would have his notifications on. But let's now move on to the injury list now, Daffy Boy. So we're now going to try and preview the game this week. And you obviously posted a post on Instagram about Mark Pittonet, and obviously he is a test this week. We don't know if he will play AFL 100% or if he will be fit to play this week, but it seems like he is it seems like he's pretty much like a chance to play. Now, the question is, do we play him if he is fit? That's the question. So I'm going to ask you a question about that, Dave Moore. Now, also, Jesse Motlop gone through another VFL game. So that's another question where maybe you bring him in as a sub, or maybe you drop one of the small forwards and bring in Jesse Motlop. That's another question that might happen this week. And of course, Jack Martin, Adam Chera, and David Cunningham will be assessed post-bye. So they're obviously 2 to 3 weeks away. So obviously quite unfortunate because last week I think they were 1 to 2 weeks away, and now they've
I think.
I
I reckon Cher will be back for the Cats.
Yep. That's round 15.
Yep.
It's the one. Yeah. So that's the first one after. So yeah, I mean, like as you said, I think that's going to be the first one after the post-bye. But Dave, what are your thoughts initially on Mark Pitnet, and if you think, because it is a good chance that he will come back this week for the Bombers, do you play him? And also touch on Jesse Motlop and your thoughts about him about potentially coming in as a sub.
Yeah, it's the topic of discussion, and that's why I did the post yesterday. I just wanted to hear people's thoughts and their views of why Pito should be in the team or why he shouldn't be in the team. Or, I like differing opinions, and sometimes if it's a really good opinion, I might go, that might change my perspective on things. But in terms of Pito, like I said before we filmed, this is nothing to do with his performance. He is in great form. He is in great form, Pitternet. There's no issue with the way he's been playing. Nothing to do with him individually. But I think as a collective, when he's in the team, we aren't as impactful. And in terms of just winning games, like on the weekend, we had TDK run out probably 90% of the game in the ruck against a proper ruck in Soldo. He wasn't playing against, a random kind of, Vicentini or a kind of rookie ruck, but he's playing against someone who's, he's a premiership player. So, it's I'm not going to pick him in my selections. I personally think the last 2 weeks we've had great continuity, and I've had really a lot of confidence in this team and the way they've gone about it. And that's why I was confident about the Port Adelaide game, because I thought the same team we played against against Gold Coast, the same 22-23, got the job done. So for me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Patto. Yeah. That's a saying for me. If it ain't broke, do not fix it.
Yeah, no, spot on. And also Jesse Motlop, is there a chance maybe that you might bring him in this week as a sub?
I don't know. It's tough. He could definitely be the sub. If he is in, I think he would be the sub. But no, I'm not changing it.
Yeah, no, love it. So let's now swing straight into the ins and outs, and I think it's quite obvious. I'm not sure if you might have a late change, Daffy Boy, but do you have any ins and outs for this week?
No, I'm sticking with the same squad, and my sub will be the same with Jack Carroll. I think he can come in, play a little bit of half forward, can play in the middle, and he came on really late on the weekend. So all it is providing run, and I think can Motlop provide that run in the last quarter against the Bombers? Because I think with the MCG, you need that kind of midfielder that can bring a little bit of run, a little bit of dash. So, yeah, I've got Carroll coming in, and he's played a really, really good role this year. So, and I don't think he's worthy of playing VFL right now. I think he's good enough to be in the 22, but unlucky to just miss out. So, probably deserves to be in a sub position.
I love it. Now, I reckon this is probably the first time in the club's history that we have brought in 2 weeks in a row unchanged. Yep. So, shout out to Carlton and, of course, Andrew Russell, because there's been a lot of talk for the past 2 months in terms of the injuries, and we've now gone through, hopefully we've gone through unchanged 2 weeks in a row. So, and I mean, even if it's a Mark Pitnet coming in and one of the smalls maybe gets dropped to try and test the Essendon, to try and test the Essendon backline, I mean, I understand it, but I'm the exact same. I don't think there's any changes this week. And as you said, I think if it's not broke, then we don't need to fix it. It's quite simple. Like, do not touch it. And it's the exact same thing as last year. Like, there was a bit of a shift in terms of after the Essendon game and heading into the Gold Coast Suns. It wasn't the list; it was just the game plan. So the personnel out there are fine. So don't change that. And I mean, of course, if there's players that are performing, that's when you bring in some players performing in the VFL. But it's down to the personnel as a collective, and also the chemistry within the side as well. That's also important. And then heading into the finals, if you get a few players that obviously have been around for most of the year, that's what's really important come finals time. And that's what one of the best sides in the competition obviously can hold their injuries quite well. And I mean, like even another question, like even if there's a few players that come later on in the year that have returned from injury, maybe we don't play them. Seriously, maybe we don't play them because it might mess with the
Yeah.
chemistry. I'm not sure, but like I mean, like even like a conversation might be a Caleb Marchbank. Like right now he's probably like I mean he came in for the Brisbane game, but that's another conversation where it's like maybe you do play him, but once again he may have messed up the chemistry last year for the prelims. So
Yeah, I think he did.
yeah, because I think we dropped Chincotta for the prelim.
And Kemp got
Yeah,
dropped as well.
yes. So we dropped Chincotta and Kemp and brought
Kemp's
in.
better than Marchbank
Yeah,
in our team.
yeah,
Fits better. Fits
yeah,
much better.
yeah. I think Kemp suits the back line a lot more now because of McGovern. Like the role that McGovern's playing, it opens up an avenue for Brodie
Yep.
Kemp. But don't worry, let's now move on to the opposition watch. And for the people who don't know what this is, we pretty much touch on the backline, midfield, and forward for the Essendon Bombers. We touch on each player on each line, and we pretty much touch on why they are a threat come Sunday night. So, Daff Boy, we're going to start off with the backline opposition watch for the Essendon Bombers. Who have you got?
Yeah, well, we have that rivalry with them, and we always talk a little bit of shit, but I think they've been playing really good footy, and I don't really rate the talk about their draw. Obviously, the draw's been a little bit easier, but it's the same thing happened to us in 2022. You got to play who's coming up against you. They don't choose the fucking schedule. You just got to win the games. They were 8 games unbeaten. That's a great thing. They didn't let North Melbourne beat them. They didn't, there was no upsets on the cards where, they almost lost to Richmond, but they didn't let that happen. And in the past, they probably do let that happen. That's just on Essendon as a whole and the whole narrative around, are they a top 14? They're probably not, but at the moment they're playing good footy, so you can't really discount that. Down back, I'm going to highlight a guy and one to watch, and it's both positive and negative on this player, and it's Nick Martin. And the thing about him is, and the thing I want to talk about him is, he actually hurts Essendon more by foot than
Yeah.
helps them. And I think there was a video the other day. I think Kane Corns was talking about it. He might get his 35. Like, he's a good player. I think he's a good player. But like, he's not hurting you by foot as much as he probably should be. So that's why I kind of want to highlight him. And there's a lot of talk about who do we tag? Who are we tagging? I don't think we tag him. Probably there's one name in particular that we'll focus on in the midfield that I think we might tag, but we might not even tag. Who knows? I think we will. But on Nick Martin, he's a great player. I think any team would take him, but I just think for a guy who gets a lot of the footy, and he will get a lot of the footy this weekend without Mason Redmond. He will get the kick-outs. He will get more footy off the back half. So we will keep tabs on him. I think personally, I think we'll keep tabs on him and how it goes throughout the game. Maybe we do need to monitor his ball use and the amount of times he gets the ball, because he does drive long. But for me, I think he hurts them more by foot than actually helps them, because the amount of times he gets the ball too. It's not like he's getting it 15 times. He's getting it 30.
Yeah. No, I like it. Now, so you mentioned then about the tag. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the player, I mean, we will touch on it in the midfield, obviously, but I'm just going to ask this now. Obviously, the player that I think you're thinking about and I'm thinking about as well is Zach Merritt. Do
Yep.
you think that Alex Chincotta does go to him? Now, very quickly, if there isn't a tag this week from Alex Chincotta, does he play?
He has to play. He will play. He will for sure play. I think Michael Voss loves him. I just think, I think he will tag Merritt. I think Merritt's their number one score involvement guy. So if you can stop him or just limit him a little bit, like he did against Butters, it's massive. Butters didn't touch the ball after the 17-minute mark of the last quarter, which is crunch time.
Yeah.
You want to take those guys out of crunch time. So yes, I think Chincotta will tag Merritt, but if he doesn't, I think he'll be in the team anyway.
What role would you see Alex Chincotta playing if he isn't tagging, especially with how many, like Jordan Boyd's covering his role, Adam Sudd's obviously covering his defensive role. There's a lot of half forwards that are doing their role. What role would you think he could play if he isn't tagging?
I don't think he plays in the back half. I think he'll be half forward, almost monitoring a Martin, playing a little bit defensive role on Nick Martin. Even guys like Ridley. Not more just picking him up, but just keeping him accountable.
Yeah.
Keep guys like Martin accountable. And that's going to be huge for our forward line in terms of the whole back six for them. You got to make them accountable. Don't, even Ridley, like you said before we recorded, he's an interceptor, but make him fucking work on his opponent.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I think the only reason why I bring Pitto in. The one reason I'm not bringing him in, but to stretch them out and force Ridley to pick up a TDK. You know what I mean? Like it's an interesting conversation. But I think Chincott will play either mid as a tagger or even a forward, a defensive forward.
Yeah, no, love it. So my backline opposition watch, it's one of the players that you've mentioned then, and it's Jordan Ridley. Obviously he's returned from injury. He returned against the Tigers for Dreamtime. So, and then obviously he won the award for best round there, and he got 162 super coach, which obviously helped me out. I brought him in that week, so I was quite happy about that. But I mean, obviously he backed up again against the Suns last week, so he's obviously back to that role. And once again, if Redmond obviously isn't playing this week, so it opens up another avenue for Jordan Ridley, and because he can play that third tall, but he can also play as that halfback rebounding defender. So I think there's a lot of choices to use Jordan Ridley, but I think one of the players that you mentioned there, Nick Martin, I think Nick Martin will cover that Mason Redmond role, and I think it's going to help him a lot with trying to get a lot more of the footy. And I completely agree about the way that he uses the footy. There's a lot of comparisons from Nick Martin to Nick Dacos, but let's be real, Nick Dacos is the best kick in the AFL, and Nick Martin is in that role, but he doesn't he doesn't use the footy well. So I think Nick Dacos, especially, I mean, to try and go off, and we don't want to touch on Collingwood players, but I think the way that he's transitioned from a halfback to this year, actually winning, I think he's top 4 right now in contested, actually winning the ball, because I know that last year he was number 1 in actually using the ball, but now he's actually winning the ball, and I think he's top 4 in the league for actually winning the ball. So that's another conversation where it's another avenue that he's opened up, and I don't think Nick Martin is a player that can really, he's not a hard ball getter. He's an outside runner that uses the ball, and he needs to have a good kick. And simply the past few weeks, he started well, but it's always been there's been some choices that he's made that it's been.
That's what it is. I don't think his kicking's bad. I think his decision making at some certain stages. I think there was a video where he was a half back, and he was in the middle of the ground. He just pummels his ball to his teammate at half forward. It was just a really weird choice. And then Gold Coast rebound. And what do we say about shallow entries, Patto? If you get a shallow entry, it's coming back the other way quicker.
Yeah. So, obviously with him, he just needs to work on the way that he distributes the ball off the halfback, and that's quite simple, because he's obviously got a very great forward down there in Peter Wright, and he's obviously got great midfielders as well with Zach Merritt, and even Sam Durham to its stretch as well, who's obviously played very well this year. But definitely, let's now move on to the midfield opposition watch for the Dons. And obviously, there's a player in there that is obviously the captain of the club, so he's a big threat in that midfield. But who have you got as your opposition watch?
Yeah, they've been playing well. Hate to say it sometimes, but they've been playing well, and they've chucked a few different guys in there at certain points of the season, which I really like. And we're starting to do that a bit with Elijah Hollands, which has been a fantastic move for him, and that's actually starting to get talked about in the mainstream media, which is fantastic to see. My midfield, I'm not going to talk about the captain. So the supposedly best captain in the league, I don't even think that conversation shouldn't even exist. There's no best captain. Who knows? Max Gawn's a good captain. Cripps is a good captain. Merritt's a good captain. They're all good captains. Darcy Moore's a good captain. This conversation and this narrative of best captain just doesn't. It's just a clickbait type conversation. But for me, my midfielder is Sam Durham. I really rate this guy. I really, really rate this guy. Fuck, he goes about it nicely. He goes about his football nicely. He's hard at it. He impacts his scoreboard. He's ahead of the ball. He's really, really impactful. And he's got that bit of, he's got a bit that CUNT in him, doesn't he? Durham. He's got something about him. He's only 22 years old. He was a mid-season draft, so he was on Richmond's VFL list. They let him slip through their fingers, and now he's one of the top 4 clubs' best players. And yeah, he's a guy to watch out for and keep tabs on. But Once again, I think for me, it's making them work both ways. I think we made Port work both ways. And what happened, Patto? They got hurt on the other end because I think they're a very front running team, Port Adelaide. You know, Butters and Rosie, they're all fast when they're going forward, aren't they? They're all, oh, let's push forward. Once we turn it over, they're not pushing hard enough back. So that's the test for me to see how they respond to our quick turnover game, which we saw last week.
Yeah, no, like it. Now, so my opposition watch, it's Zach Merritt.
Yeah.
Like, I think I wanted to try and touch on a bit of Sam Durham, and like I like what you said then about how he's really he's really improved his
Yeah.
game this year, and I think he's got a little bit more opportunity without obviously Dylan Shield playing in the VFL, and Will Setterfield as well, coming back from injury, but he probably doesn't come in. Ben Hobbs as well, that had a lot of opportunities last year, but it's good that Sam Durham's getting that opportunity because I think he's a hell of a lot better than those three.
Oh, he is.
And I think he's clearly showing it right now. But yeah, I'm going with Zach Merritt. And as soon as I wrote this down, I think this is by far the clear play that I wanted to try and touch on. And it's because when you limit his impact, it limits Essendon's impact as well. So I think, obviously he's the captain of the club, and I completely agree about the captain conversation. I think the reason why captains are so important for each club because it suits their club. It's not down to this guy's the best captain in the league. Like, there's a lot of qualities in everyone. Like, Darcy Moore is one of the best captains in the competition because of the way he speaks. But Jackson is one of the best captains in the competition because of the way that he plays. Like, it's just small things like that where, and there's a team like Collingwood who's at the top of the ladder, and there's a guy like Jack Steele and Saints who are at the bottom of the ladder, but they've both got assets that they can use as that captaincy. And like Darcy Moore overall is a great captain, but as I said, I think every single club choose their captain because it suits their club. So I think the overall captain conversation is just ridiculous. And as you said, and as you say quite a bit, I think it gets clicks because people disagree. Then it creates a conversation, and then that's exactly what they want. So I don't even try and engage and acknowledge that. So yeah, so as I said, Zach Merritt, and I think he's in contention for All Australian as well. I think right now probably Zach Merritt, probably Patrick Cripps, if you really are being honest, I think is well and truly in that conversation as an All Australian midfield. Mark Play that's been playing quite well this year, but the past few weeks he's really shown his dominance as well. So yeah, I think Zach Merritt is a big threat, and I think Alex Chincotta has to go to him. There's no other, I guess, outcome in my opinion. I think Chincotta has to go to him. I think he's been so great as a tagger, and we saw it last week with Zach Butters, and also when he transitioned to Jason Horne-Francis. But even the past few weeks when he's actually been tagging as that role, I think he's been really good. So I think he has to go to Zach Merritt. But Dave Boyd, let's now move on to the forward line opposition watch. There's not a lot of options down there. I don't know if that's a bit of a outlandish call, but your forward line opposition watch for the Dons, who have you got?
I actually think there's a few, to be honest. I think they've been really impactful I reckon all these six that I'm looking at right now have had their impact up forward. I hate to say it once again, but with Essendon. But yeah, for me, I think you can't go past this guy. I think he's a big game player. He's on a contract here, which he always plays a little bit better. And it's Jake, the package Stringer. No, I don't think he's just one of those guys you got to watch out for, because if you let him off the leash, you'll kick six. You know, he's that type of bloke. You'll kick one from the boundary, and all of a sudden they're up and about. I'm not saying he's the most consistent player. I think he's the most impactful player in that forward line if he is on. And he has been on more times than not this year. So it's just a matter of who we get to pick him up. McGovern, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they got Langford down there if he is playing. If he doesn't play, they got Nate Caddy coming in. So he's another tall, a young fella in there. So, and they've got other guys I'm sure you'll touch on as well with their smalls, and one in particular who has kind of exceeded my expectation from the St Kilda Football Club, who's come over and he's played a role as well. So, yeah, for me, Jake Stringer, because he just worries me when the ball's inside 50. I just know he'll pop something out of his ass from the boundary. Like Finlayson's goal in the last quarter on the week on Saturday night, which I thought, oh, don't fucking do it to us. I was like, do not do it to us. But if Stringer's kicking goals in the boundary and that's the goals he's getting, I don't mind that. Just don't give him easy goals.
Yeah, no, I do like it. I mean, the whole reason why I kind of mentioned about the half forwards. I'm just the forward line in general. I'm just like, there's not a lot of match winners down there, I don't think. And there's like a Jake Stringer who, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, but he is the most inconsistent player because his best is one of the best in the competition, but his worst is one of the worst in the competition. And that's just why that, like when I shake my head, I'm just like, Jake Stringer is just a player that would frustrate the living fuck out of me if he played for Carlton. Seriously, because I'm sure, like, I mean, I know a lot of Essendon supporters and they speak the exact same way about Jake Stringer. Like, he get up and about when he's playing well, but then the week after he gets 0 touches in a game. Like, it's something that, and it's good that he's been fit this year. I don't think he's fit the game yet. So I think he's been good to actually be out there and obviously have a lot more opportunity when you're out there actually playing football. But now I'm going with Peter Wright as my opposition watch, and I think down there you would expect Jacob Weary to go straight to Peter Wright, and I rate this guy quite highly. I think when he gets going, I think he's quite hard to stop, and he's probably one of the more underrated key forwards in the competition. I don't think there's enough talk going to him, even when he moved to Essendon. Like I know that he came from Gold Coast, which obviously is a bit of there's not a lot of like conversation going around there, but I just think that when he moved to Essendon, there still wasn't a lot of conversation around him as well. So I know it's a bit of an interesting one, and I just think, I mean, last time we played, he obviously kicked 5 goals against us, so that's something that worries me as well, definitely. But yeah, I think Peter Wright is a bit of a threat, but I completely agree about the big Jade Gresham as well. Like, I think he's a guy that played quite solid this year. It was a bit of a conversation where from St Kilda, he wasn't really getting the type of role that he really wanted. And this year, Essendon gave him that role, and I think he's been playing really well. And another player I'll mention, Mac Welfie.
He's been good.
He's been solid. But yeah, I mean, I don't really want to touch the whole bloody forward line because I did mention before that they don't really have a lot of options down there. But yeah, I mean, I probably will stand by that. And I think when they play against worse sides, I think they kind of stand out. But when they come against the good sides like Carlton, I think that's when they kind of get found out a little bit. So let's just hope that they do get found out a little bit when Mac Welfie lines up on Adam Sard this week. But definitely, let's now move on to our match predictions. Obviously, we for the people who don't know what this is, we touch on a bagger of the game, which is obviously the best player that we think will come on Sunday night. Point of difference, which obviously, as it says right there, it's a player that is a point of difference come Sunday night, definitely, and winner plus margin. So it's a bit of a highly anticipated segment, especially the winner plus margin. So, Daff Boy, I'm going to throw it straight to you. Your bag of the game, point of difference, winner plus margin. Who have you got for this Sunday?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of trust in these guys. I think Essendon will be out for the challenge. I think they could definitely really take it up to us. So I have no, I don't think we're just going to be rolling up to the G and smacking them, which we could, but I think they'll be up to it. I think it's one of those games, 90,000 the G. I honestly think sometimes the crowd, when it's a big crowd, sometimes it often doesn't let you play shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's just something about it, like just physicality, maybe not like, a ball movement or whatever, but there's something about pressure and big crowds. But my bagger of the game, so the whole conversation of the Harry and Ben, which is going to be great. That'll be quite funny, and be interesting to see what Harry does when he kicks a couple goals. Harry's quite a reserved type operator, so I think he'll be focused on the game a lot. But it'll be cool to see him and his brother, and they're playing in they were both Essendon supporters as kids, so that's very funny as well in itself. But my bagger of the game, the focus on those two, and particularly Harry for us, it's going to be Charlie Curnow. He is going to be our bagger of the game. I just think the spotlight is on the brothers, and Harry's going to go, nah. Charlie's going to go, nah, bugger you blokes. I'm going to kick 8 goals at the MCG. He's going to kick 8. He hasn't kicked a bag yet this year in terms of a big, big bag. And it's going to be at the G, 90,000. He's kicking 8 goals. Lock it in, Patto. Put it in your notebook. Put it in your phone. 8 goals right now. Put it in your reminders. Daffy said 8 goals and put it at about, what time does it start the game?
7:20.
7:20. So by about 9:50, he'll have 8 goals. Bag of the game, Charlie Curnow. Point of difference. Point of difference. I think this guy is a point of difference every week, and I could put him as the point of difference every single week. It's Lockie Fogarty. Every game. He lands the tackles. We both notice it. We both talk about it. He just, when a tackle needs to be laid, doesn't matter where it is on the ground, he'll fucking lay it. He will lay the tackle inside. He's just crucial for us, I think, in our premiership tilt. I think if he's not in the team, I'm not sure what we do. You know what I mean? In terms of our small forwards, I don't think our pressure's good enough without him in the team. Win plus margin. I think we win this game. I think we win this game. I think we must win this game in terms of just getting the gap on a few teams. Get a gap, create the gap and push for top 4. We go above Essendon, which would be fantastic if we do win this game. I think the Blues win this game by 27 points at the MCG. I think they'll be up to it for most of the game. But I think off the back of last week's performances, I think the boys will be sniffing an easier finish again to the game. You know, how nice is it finishing it easy with the last 10 minutes? You know, and Charlie said in his interview on Triple M yesterday that we hadn't finished games well enough this year, even when we won. We were finishing games winning by, Melbourne game when we were up by fucking 5 goals and winning by a point, and even the Richmond game and, certain games like that where we couldn't finish off the game well, and considering how well we played. And last week we did that. And that's a huge mentality boost for the team. So I think we win comfortably in the end. I think it'll be up at 3/4 time, that 2 goal, and you go, oh shit, you got that little bit of something in your head going, oh fuck. But boys will snap in action and win by 27 points, and we'll shove it up their ass.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Now, so my bagger of the game, call me Patrick Cripps again.
Yeah.
I reckon this has changed the past few weeks. And it's just something about Essendon, Sunday night, King's Birthday Eve, marquee game. I take a bit of a sniff that Patrick Cripps will come in with a bit of a new haircut, a bit of a shaved head, a bit of a mullet. Just comes in and he'll fucking do his job. Like a bit of like Sam Durham will go to him, a bit of Will Sedfield if he does come in, a bit like he might go to him. But I'm sorry, but it's Patrick Cripps. Like I think he's going to be the bag of the game this week. Now my point of difference, bit of an outlandish one, but I thought about it straight away. I mentioned to you before we pressed record. I mentioned it straight away, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be my point of difference, and I didn't even tell you. And it's Orazio Fantasia.
Okay.
I think he's going to be my point of difference this week. And there's something about Orazio coming up against Essendon. Biggest crowd I reckon he's played in front of since, obviously leaving Essendon as well. Maybe potentially the biggest crowd he's played in front of. So there's just something about Orazio playing at the MCG against the Dons Sunday night. As I just said, marquee game, King's Birthday Eve. Nothing about that. So Orazio Fantasia is going to be my point of difference, and maybe he might actually hit the scoreboard this time. I think he's played that different role in terms of trying to go up the ground a little bit more as that half forward role and doing the hard running in terms of like the two-way running when he gets into the back line, into the forward line. He does that really well. But I think this week he might actually impact the scoreboard as well. Now, my winner plus margin. You said 27 points, which I think is a bit of a blowout. Now, I'm going 37 points to the Blues. So there's something about this, and I might be completely wrong here. I'm a little bit nervous about this, but I reckon the first half we will do all of our work. Seriously, I don't reckon Essendon have played against a good side yet. They haven't had a genuine test.
And the one test they had was Sydney, and they lost.
Exactly right.
And they lost to Port Adelaide by 70.
Exactly right. So they have not had a genuine test. Yes, they played against Collingwood, but Collingwood always play close games. Always play close games. Now, this isn't even a block. I could have done more. I reckon I was quite lenient here. No, seriously. Like now, this might come back to bite me in the bum, and it might be dogs by 37 points. But I'm just seeing this. I'm like 37 points to the Baggers. It's only 6 goals. Well,
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And there's probably Essendon supporters watching this. We're not having a go at your team. I think you've been playing really well. I just feel like this is the game we've been building on. Like the last couple of weeks, you know what I mean? It's just building. We played Port away on the weekend.
Yeah.
We're coming back home in front of the crowd. MCG, I think we're due to smack someone in prime time, to be honest with you. And I think you are spot on. And you could even be in more, like you said.
Yeah. So 37 points, and like as I said, I just think it might be that maybe the biggest crowd come Sunday night, because obviously it's a public holiday come Monday, which obviously it's King's birthday. So just think it's just something about it, Daffy boy. 37 points, and I think Harry McKay will get into, and we haven't even touched on it really. Like Harry McKay versus Ben McKay. Let's hope that they are both on ice for the next few days, because like I just feel there's something still going through my head, but I just don't think they will face each other this week. But I don't know. I think like the interview this week where they had the press conference that they had, I think that's gonna pretty much show that they will play against each other this week. But it's something about it. And as soon as they enter the field at the G on Sunday night, I just think that's going to be unbelievable to see them both come up against each other. And they've been playing since 2016 and they haven't played against each other. That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Yeah. So, David Boy, before we wrap up the episode, is there anything else you'd like to touch on?
Not really. I think you're spot on with the Orazio call, to be honest. I think he's been building and he's still copping some stray comments on Instagram and stuff like that. But I think he's building, and I think he's a guy we need on our side when he's on. I don't think we almost kicked goal of the year on the weekend, by the way, the one from the boundary. So he's having that kind of half moments, isn't he? He's having those half moments, and I think you've spot on with the week. I think he's going to turn those half moments into full moments, whether it's, goal assists or, just doing those things he does. He's got a bit of zip and a bit of zap, and it's what I must say, I'm quite happy how we've fixed his body.
Yeah.
I think that's not been talked about enough as well. He barely got on the park the last 2 years, and he's played every game this year except one, maybe. I think he missed one game. He played in the twos and he had 25. So that's good in itself. But I think he's just turned those little moments, little half moments, or, to goals and big moments, which I think he can this weekend.
Yeah, it's actually really well said, because there's been a lot of conversation going to Andrew Russell in particular about how crap we've been with injuries. Well, Orazio Fantasia is one of the guys, like, you kind of think about Joe Danaher as well when he moved to Brisbane, how he never got out on the park and how Brisbane have transformed his career. Right now, he's played a good 13-game streak in a row.
Yeah.
Where he's played every game, and as you said, like, he hasn't gotten injured, and even when he hasn't been in the senior side, he's still been dominating in the 100%. VFL. So I think it's a really good point, actually, because there's been a lot of inappropriate conversation going to Andrew Russell, which I think is completely wrong. Yeah. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I agree. And not even just the injury management, but I also think the game, like the whole game management and the training loads, because we won that game on the weekend because we were fitter than them.
Yeah.
Weren't we? 5-day break. That's a credit to Andrew Russell. Seriously, 5-day break away from home. You kick 8 goals in the last quarter.
Yep.
And run a team off their legs. Like, obviously, we're better skill-wise than them, but that's a credit to him as well. And we've got to give him credit as well. I know we both talk about him when, the injuries were happening, but you've got to have the same energy both ways. And I think that energy, it's got to be positive energy for certain things. Yeah. They could have dealt with certain injuries better, but sometimes you just can't, Patto.
Yeah.
The injuries have happened to guys who get injured all the time. In Martin, even Chera to a point. David Cunningham. I don't think that's Andrew Russell's issue, because there's other guys are playing every single week. And he's playing Walsh with who's had a back issue. He's played every week. He's, Orazio as well. And he's also turned Charlie Curnow's career around.
Yep.
Which we can't discount. So, obviously injuries, but also just the game management. And I think that's a big thing for us this year. And good teams run out games, Patto. They run out games. They don't hold on. And you know what I mean? They don't hold on and get tired and sit back. We just continue to push on off a 5-day break.
Yeah. And like the great sides, as we mentioned before, like Brisbane have transformed players that have been injury prone into guys that have played like 60 games straight. So small things like that make a difference. And especially come finals time, you need to get these players out there. And I completely agree about there is a bit of unluckiness about Adam Chera, Jack Martin, David Cunningham, Caleb Marchbank to a stretch as well. Like those 4, and of course there's a few other players as well. But there definitely has to be a conversation and a bit of recognition going to Andrew Russell about how well he has done this year, but also in past years as well. Like even when he first came here, we were all like, yeah, yes, like this is so exciting. Like he's one of the best in his area, and he's obviously come from Hawthorn, who have obviously won three or four premierships in his era, I think, when he was there. But overall, I just think he's so important because, as you said, the game management, we blew Port Adelaide out in the last quarter, which is something that we haven't really done before.
No.
And we've been speaking about how we've started really well, but we kind of fall late. We started well, but we also ended well.
Yeah.
That was one thing, and that's what the best sides do, and that's why we mentioned in the review as well. Like that was in my opinion, I think that's by far Michael Voss's best performance because it was a 4-quarter game. It wasn't great 3 quarters and 1 quarter we fall off, and that's the most important quarter. It was just even the whole way. So yeah, I'm quite glad that you mentioned that. But is there anything else you want to touch on now?
Not really, just excited. It's a big occasion. We tend to play big occasions every bloody week. So we got obviously Geelong in 2 weeks on a Friday night, of course. They can't just sneak us on a Sunday arvo, so we can put the feet up for a few hours. Got to be Friday night. So, but this is what we're going to do, Patto. We're a big club. We're a good team. So we're going to have to back up performances of last week, and I want to see that performance backed up once again.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Really well wrapped up, that boys. So now I'm just going to very quickly touch on also make sure to head on over to MND and the whole site. Obviously it's a big freeze 10, I think, this week, which is unbelievable how quickly that's gone. 10 years since it first started. So make sure to head on over and get your beanie. I don't have my beanie with me right now, but it's in the bloody living room. But yeah, so make sure to get around there. I think it's $20 for a beanie. So, and then obviously that goes straight towards MND and the fight to try and stop and freeze M&D, because obviously my grandpa passed away 10 years ago from M&D when he was kind of first brought up, and it wasn't really well known back then. But obviously Neil Danaher and his kind of impact that he's had, that really shed a light on everyone who's kind of lost. Sure. And then even then, like had no idea even what M&D was, and now are still kind of unknown about it. But I mean, like they don't really know much about it, but it's now in the 20 years time, 30 years time, 50 years time, everyone will know about it, and it will pretty much be like cancer. And let's hope we can kind of stop M&D as a whole, because it's unbelievable that he's still fighting and he's had it for 11 years. So it's unbelievable how well he's done. But yeah, make sure. And also, are you going to the game?
Yeah, I'll be going on Monday. Yeah. Cool. It's always a good game. Yeah, it's just like you said, it's a special cause, and there's just something about, you know, the footy community and just the Australian community getting around each other. I think it's a really good game. And, you know, we always say footy is our life. It of course is, but there's also more things sometimes to life than footy. So, yeah, and like you said with Neil, he's battling on, and it's fantastic to see. And it's great to see him last this long, because his legacy will last forever. And especially for people who have MND, he's a great role model for them and how they can deal with it. So hopefully his, cause in, like you said, in 20, 30 years time, hopefully we can nullify this issue and this disease. So yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sure this would be one of the biggest campaigns going around for MND worldwide. And I think this will really showcase how strong that this is really like started, especially in Australia. And then it might actually go worldwide. And who knows, in 20 years time, like the big freeze might be worldwide. It might not just be within Australia. It might actually go beyond worldwide, and I think that's great. And it really is like it's the world is their oyster. I think I think that's kind of their start, where they've started it. They've done 10 years, but now it's more 30 years down the track. What can we actually work towards 10 years down the track? And I think our $20 donations helps with beanie. And I will say it's probably one of their best beanies they've brought out. It's very good. Warm. I'm obviously a tennis coach, and I try and work with the cold. I'll put it on definitely, and it makes me very warm. So no, it's good to see. But yeah, so make sure to get around that. We'll try and leave a link in the bio as well. So we will give a link to direct straight to the site to donate and to buy your beanie. But yeah, so to every single Blue Bagger and every single AFL supporter, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We are on a lot of platforms. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. There's a few other platforms there, definitely, that we are going around. So make sure to get around those, and also our social platforms. We both are covering Instagram, TikTok, Facebook as well. Make sure to get around those. But to you, Daffy boy, and to every single blue bagger out there, my baggers!